Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sexy Nerd Science, Season 5, Episode 1. I'm here with Josh and Dale, as always.
Hi, guys.
Hello there.
We got a great show being back for Season 1, or Season 5, Episode 1. We're going to get into some sexy news, but first we're going to get into our kind of a welcome back recap that we got going on here. Dale, what'd you do over the break? Anything fun?
No, both me and Amanda were sick, so we did absolutely nothing. We stayed in bed, tried to get better. But yeah, it's been nice being home for 2 weeks though.
Did you guys exchange any fun Christmas gifts?
She got a new computer right before Christmas, but no Christmas gifts, nothing fun really for that. Just enjoyed each other's company and saw family.
Well, that's boring. Like everybody else's Christmas.
I enjoyed playing video games like crazy. It was phenomenal.
I bet.
Yeah.
We played some games at that point, and we'll get into that later. Josh, what about you?
I had a nice break. Lots of work still because just the holiday season wrapping up was still really busy time. But we exchanged some fun presents. This was like the first year that I spent like a lot of money on my parents' Christmas presents. Got them like a Roomba and Roku. So like now my dad watches more YouTube, like Russian dash cam videos. He'll literally spend like all day watching Russian dash cam videos and like fails. Like that's just all he does all day now.
My favorite one is the one where they stop a douchebag or whatever, where they put the sticker on the guy who's driving down the sidewalk.
I did not see that. No.
It's a Russian one, so.
Oh, yeah. If my dad watches so
Gotta
much
get that
YouTube,
on Russian YouTube.
Yeah. For our Russian listeners out there, my dad's basically turned into like a 14-year-old because he watches a ton of YouTube and smokes a bunch of weed. So.
Yeah.
Drew, what'd you do?
Had a good time. This year we had Charlie for Christmas. So that way, with the split there, picked her up Christmas Eve. We did, Santa stuff, and she woke up, got a bunch of presents from a bunch of our friends and family. It was a light present load from us this year, just because we're in the weeds of that money situation. But we were spoiled with everybody else that got her gifts, so she was definitely not lacking. She is a spoiled little baby. And Thea as well. And then we went to like 3 different Christmases: Christmas Eve, Christmas at my parents' house, Christmas Day with my parents, Christmas Eve with Tasha's parents. So did a bunch of that. And then with the slow season, I've been playing games here and there with Dale. So that's been pretty fun. That's kind of how I spent the majority of the days of my break.
Yeah, it was playing with you has been pretty fun.
Chilling out,
maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Playing some video games with Dale after school.
After work.
Yeah.
Dale gets home like right when I get home ish, at like 2.
Well, I'm glad you guys are best friends.
I begged you to get on. You say no.
Yeah. Josh
I played
sucks.
Diablo like 3 times.
You played it once, and I was already in bed.
That's true.
By the time you texted me.
So if you played Diablo 3 times.
So that's what we've been up to this last couple of weeks, but we're about to tell you what's coming up in the next few 12 months.
We're going to show you guys the future.
I don't think you show up.
This is a montage.
Yeah.
Jump cut.
Jump scare.
There's no montage.
So 2018, we're going to go to our staple conventions. Or 2019, we're going to go to our staple conventions just like we did in 2018. It's kind of where I was going with that.
Learn all about staples.
Yeah, we're actually going to hold a staple booth.
Staple convention.
We're going to have a staple booth up. We're going to basically just, if you have any paperwork that needs stapled, we're not doing SexyNerdScience stuff this year. It's all about promoting staples.
We're going to have a Notary Republic there just in case.
So we typically do our first con of the year is Planet Comic-Con Kansas City, PCKC. We got a booth there last year. We got a booth there 2 years ago. We went there 3 years ago. I mean, we've been there for the past 4 years. Josh was there the year we started the podcast.
Yeah, we've been going for 5 years. At least somebody from this podcast has been going.
So
for
Dale
5
typically
years.
meets us down there, travels for that. So we're going to do that in March. That's going to be the first con of the year, I think.
And this year, most of our cons are going to be, we've been always kind of hanging out with Project Nerd, but this time our booth and Project Nerd's booth are going to be the same one the entire time.
Because of us being part of Project Nerd as far as, the growth of the business. We are a Project Nerd podcast, but we're also, in bed with Iggy, so to speak.
Literally and figuratively.
And the Project Nerd team from there. So what we're going to kind of do is we're going to kind of help develop that as well. So you'll see us at the Project Nerd booth at pretty much all these conventions. We'll help run the cons where they're running the cons and do things like that. So then that brings us to our next one is our hometown con, Omaha Comic Con.
You down with OCC?
Oh yeah, you know me. And that's not copyright infringement because we changed it. So that's going to be in June. We're going to have some substantial space with Project Nerd there, get some things going for things as far as cosplay contest and booth space and everything like that. Things that will come in time we'll talk about later, but we know kind of some stuff that's potentially going to be in place, but we don't know everything, so I kind of keep it.
Stay tuned to the Comic-Con Facebook page and website for their announcements. Same thing with Planet Comic-Con as well.
For sure.
There's new stuff coming out like every day for Planet I've seen. So,
and then August is our awesome Colorado Springs Comic-Con, which we had a blast at last year. Dale came down for that one too, drove into Colorado Springs, and Josh and I drove down there in the Tesla. That was the first time I got to drive the Tesla, which was heckin' awesome. Dale, I'm going to need like a heckin' word on the screen when that happens. That's a little background stuff.
Let's see how much I edit this time.
Okay.
We're putting Dale to work.
Yeah. And then right there, Dale, we need a big work sign right over your face. No, I'm just kidding.
Horns.
No, so Colorado Springs Comic-Con, we hooked up with Altered Reality for that last year. And hopefully we'll be able to get on board with a few more shows for them as well. But nothing's set in stone at this point. So, but they were very nice to us, and I hope they thought the same about us to, that was reciprocal. I hope they thought that. Anything else you guys want to talk about, like smaller conventions we're going to attend to without booths or anything like that we might be going to?
Well, so also in August, Michigan Comic-Con, I like to go back to Michigan for my birthday to go kayaking and hang out with everybody. And so that will also be in August. So depending on how things work out schedule-wise.
We definitely enjoyed ourselves last time when we just swung by for like an hour at Michigan Comic-Con.
Yeah, so make it a more bigger trip this year.
Yeah, so we don't want to put it in there quite yet because timing, days off, like we said, we already have Colorado Springs, so we don't want to put too much stuff in there. So
yeah,
I mean that's where you live, so that's not a problem for you. But
no, it's not a problem for me to go, especially like on a weekend or something. But if I'm already going to take off time, during that time. So
couple other things we've gone to in the past that we might try and hit again. Josh, you want to kind of talk about those?
I mean, so C2E2 is going to be right after Planet Comic-Con, like the week after.
The weekend after.
So that's another one that, again, depending on funding and schedules and stuff, it's something that we'd love to do. I just don't know if we're going to be able to make it C2E2. There is some talk of maybe doing some more traveling. I'd really like to go to a convention where we can see Night Mage again. And I think that will be fun to just go stop and see him for a little while and kind of hang out with the cons out there. So maybe seeing if we could maybe do press for one of the conventions that Night Mage is going to be at and hook up with him. I know the Michigan, Indiana, Illinois area would definitely be the places to go to see Michael Wilson / Night Mage.
Yep.
And then Sandusky.
We got him out of the way right away this year.
Yeah,
see him, Michael.
Last week, Michael was on the podcast. And so, but the other thing too, there's a bunch. I mean, every year a man dreams Dragon Con would be sweet. Obviously,
Con, San
Diego. If anything happens there, will be sweet. Vegas would be
New York.
If we put in for San Diego and we can get to San Diego, choice. San Diego, hit a brother up.
That's right. But I mean, so all these these really big dreamy cons, I'd love to go to any of those. Sandusky is another one of those. Go into the water park / just pool party convention. I mean that's a real big party con, but I honestly really want to go to Cedar Point.
Wait, you said is that Colossal Con?
That's Colossal Con is in Sandusky, Ohio, and there's a supercharger in Sandusky now too. So
wow.
And so actually, we have friends in Sandusky now.
Gotta go to Sandusky for that supercharger.
So we stay overnight.
Sounds like a fantastic idea.
Remember Kayla?
Yeah,
she's moving there.
Okay.
Yeah, her girlfriend is a EMT there, I believe. Okay. So they're moving in March.
Because she's a big Ohio State fan, and talk about that. So, and then this is not really a convention, or I guess it is a convention, but in 2 weeks we're doing the auto show.
Boom.
Yep. So we're going to do another audio or a video thing for that on YouTube. We might do some either some live stream events or some other content during that week.
We're going to give away a car.
No, we're not. But look out for that. That's going to be pretty cool. You can look at his car from a distance.
At that point, I'm going to need you to put lies. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
But there's definitely some big news coming into the auto show. I'm going to be definitely seeing if maybe we can reach out to some of these autonomous people to talk more about the technology aspect of the cars, because that's something that I really care about and really had a good time talking to. And I mean, if I'm going to be graduating here relatively soon with a physics degree, maybe it's nice to start talking to these guys. So, that would be something that I think would be a lot of fun.
Come to Michigan, Josh.
I was really excited if we can just get everybody to up and move to Michigan.
The other thing that we didn't really talk about that I know for sure we're doing, so I don't know why we missed it, but September, October-ish is Tallgrass Film Festival, and we're for sure going to that as well.
Yes.
So I don't know why it spaced our minds, but we will be there. That's in Kansas City again.
When is that? October?
Yeah, I think it's
Wichita.
It was September.
Tallgrass is in Wichita.
Oh, Tallgrass is in Wichita. I apologize. It's in Kansas. But I think it was September of this last year. So it might be October, September again. Or September, October again. But regardless, there as well. So,
and if you guys are interested in any of those conventions we talked about, all their links will be in the description of SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much everything.
Or if you want to sponsor us to come out to a con too, by all means, hit us up. And we will definitely come out there. And, at this point in time, I don't want to say we've done a lot of stuff with conventions to the point where I feel like we have a lot of experience being able to, run the gambit for the conventions, helping out with cosplay competitions, panels.
I don't want to toot our own horn, but we were contacted to contact a contact for Comic-Con today. So, and that's hush hush.
Yeah.
But
so we're the liaisons for that.
We're pretty good liaisons.
So I think it's something that I knowing how to run a convention, obviously none of us are prepared or know how to do that.
We're not going to go out and start our own convention, but if you need help, let us know.
Exactly, because we love doing interviews. I'm getting really good at saying Kapasic. So
Stephen,
if he never going to come up again.
He goes to any of the.
It's never going to come up again.
I have to introduce him.
Josh is going to go search out for all the conventions that Stephen Kapasic is at.
I'm not going to lie. I might have done something along the lines of that, which is why I want to go to Michigan Comic-Con.
Oh, okay. I see. Ulterior motives.
Yeah.
So we're got a new segment this year. We're going to do kind of touching on last year's new segment, which it was Blind Science. We're still going to do Blind Science. Don't worry. We can put Josh in his place 27 out of the 52 years this year or whatever, or 52 weeks this year. But we're going to see how much Dale doesn't really know about pop culture. Kind of comes up in random everyday talks when we're doing background stuff for the podcast. We always make mention of something or another, and Dale goes, "What's that?" Like Dale didn't know. Was it Tumblr?
What's a Triforce?
Oh, whatever.
Man, yeah.
All right, you have to be off the podcast. I said Josh earlier, but now you have to go.
It's just gonna be
Drew.
Yeah. That's why it just kept zooming in on face.
Yeah, that's what the "Hey Everybody" promo was. It's just Drew.
Hey everybody, I'm by myself. I am
it's 3 Drews.
Oh yeah. Hey everybody. No. So
Photoshop ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna need you to, instead of forget all the stuff I said earlier, just Photoshop my head on top of both of your faces. So Josh is gonna kind of run this segment here, but
yes. It's my turn for revenge. Basically, that's how this is going. So I finished with a high C average for my Blind Science questions, and I was like, guys, this isn't as easy as you think it is.
And we didn't bump his grade up for him or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like I got D's and then I just like went back and you guys are like, seriously, just graduate here, have a C, like Christmas. But that was a little inside joke. So I'm getting my physics degree. It's happening. But so this is our segment that we're going to call Pop Culture Illiteracy. And it is literally just me asking Dale pop culture questions, current event questions about pop culture to see if Dale knows. So that was a terrible idea. I shouldn't have thrown my phone in the beginning of this thing here. So our question, Dale, I hope you're ready. And the thing I mean, we need to make sure, Dale, no cheating. So
I'm not going to cheat because then it doesn't mean as much if I win.
That's true.
I'm sorry, when I win.
That's true. I'm glad I mentioned to you a hint throughout this week. I don't know if you took that hint to actually work it out, but so for your question, who just got married to Miley Cyrus? Hint: this is the brother of a Marvel superhero.
God damn it. Who did Miley Cyrus just marry?
Yeah, it's been 10 years in the making. It was big news. Miley Cyrus just got married.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I have heard nothing. And you said the hint was... Okay, wait.
He's the brother of a Marvel superhero.
Yeah, I'm going to say... the Hemsworth brother.
Okay.
I'm on.
Who's the Marvel superhero?
Hemsworth? Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
And the brother's name is it Daniel?
It's not. No, it's.
Oh, goddamn. Okay.
I'm still giving it to you, but
yeah, the fact
is it Jake?
Brothers. No,
it's
Liam
Hemsworth.
I would not have gotten that.
But
do you know what other movie that Liam Hemsworth has been in, or like major role that he's been in? Because he's been in a couple.
Yeah, I've seen him in stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely on board with that hint that Josh gave you.
He's in a Marvel movie?
No.
Oh, he's in a Miley Cyrus movie?
No.
Yes.
But the hint that he gave you earlier.
I don't think Dale realizes that was the hint for it.
No.
I told you to go watch Hunger Games or be ready for the Hunger Games as my hint.
Oh, yeah, he is in that, isn't he?
He is in the Hunger Games. That's right.
Well,
so what do you guys think? Did I get it?
That works. You knew that it was one of the Hemsworth
as long
brothers.
as you said either Chris Hemsworth or like a Hemsworth brother or Even I was almost prepared to give it to you as long as you said it was Thor, like Thor's brother.
Because honestly, I mean, like I knew the Marvel thing was probably. I mean, this is question number one. I didn't want to start it off too hard, so that's why I made sure.
This is the easy one.
How many other people with brothers do you think? Like, does Chris Evans have a brother?
Yes.
I don't know.
He has 3 brothers and 1 sister.
Shut up. I have no idea.
I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
I was like, Dale, you talk out of your ass so well.
Yeah, it was like I don't know, like if Robert Downey Jr. has a brother. Certainly not one that's marrying Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, no. I had no idea. Miley Cyrus. Like normally, I don't watch the news that well, or like at all. But I'm familiar with usually like big celebrities that are getting married or know who they're dating.
So this thing was, I mean, it was 10 years off and on, and it was like a kind of a surprise impromptu wedding. Like they didn't really tell a lot of people that they were getting married. It was like literally she was on Saturday Night Live, and then next week, boom, married. And I was like, what the heck? So
how do you spell Miley?
Miley.
Miley.
Smiley without the S.
Okay.
So that's 1 for 1. 100%, Dale. All right, so gonna get into the nerdy news here. That was a pretty sexy question answering from Dale. But we've got some nerdy news, and we're gonna punish him for that correct answer. Is that a good transition?
that was a good transition.
All right, so recently we've had a lot of things happening in the Netflix world, and actually the whole streaming, on-demand streaming world. Recently, DC has opened up their own streaming service. Hulu is, canceling commercial-free watching for specific shows. I know that was a while ago that they did that, but that's new to me. I haven't seen that where they show you a commercial before and after instead of and you can't not watch them or whatever. But anyway,
Interesting.
Did you not know that?
I knew that they did recently. They were doing the next day primetime shows commercial free.
Well, so
I've been watching commercials with all my Hulu stuff I remember I paid for one time, like back in the day, because it got rid of commercials and gave me the whole access to the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they raised prices again, and now I'm back to like a normal Hulu membership.
We don't pay for it anyway. But with that happening, Disney has also slated their own streaming service.
Q3 of 2019.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this year, so I mean, big things are coming for that. But with that comes this bit of information on Netflix's side. Punisher season 2 is supposed to be dropping on Netflix. There's supposed to be a trailer for it tomorrow, as of recording this, which will be the day of, as of this dropping, because this will go out Thursday, or should go out Thursday. But Dale wanted to talk about this. So Dale, why don't you go ahead and take the reins from here?
So I can't find numbers or popularity or how many times it's been watched on the internet right now. Netflix holds that a little close to the vest. However, I feel that Punisher, being an anti-hero, is one of the least favorite, not the least favorite Marvel TV characters. I'm going to say TV series, whatever you want to call it, because it is on Netflix. That is the least popular and one of the least popular. You have the Defenders, you have Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, the Iron Fist, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans, Legion, Gifted. There's a ton of these shows that are being canceled, and some of the big ones are Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. I didn't really care or give a crap about, but Inhumans, the Defenders, and also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All these are getting canceled. The only two that I really give a crap about is Jessica Jones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would say, possibly, because I watch a little bit of that. And I'm just so confused why Netflix is canceling it. Like you said, it could be one of those things where it's transitioning to the MCU internet streaming site or something similar to that, Disney streaming site. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if they're going to take the reins of it. but I seem like they have a good thing and they should be continuing that. I would like to find some numbers on it, but like I said, Netflix must not be putting that information out there.
I know that Josh probably knows this, but I looked into it a while ago when they canceled Daredevil. So Netflix has rights to at least 2 seasons of each show prior to the Disney. I mean, the Disney thing was in works, I think, even before we talked about it, before Luke Cage season 1 even dropped. The Disney streaming service was kind of toted in a mysterious fashion from there until even now. It's been set in stone now, but it was, back then it was only that. But Netflix had rights to specific amounts of seasons for specific things. So like Iron Fist, I think Iron Fist got pushed because they wanted to get it out, have that market share or that specific niche drop in droves. So they dropped Luke Cage season 2, then Iron Fist season 2, and then or whatever order that they did it in. Daredevil 3, and then Jessica Jones 2 had already come out last year, I think, early 2018. But they had rights to multiple seasons. So Daredevil had been out for a year or 2 before Luke Cage came out, so they probably already negotiated, season 3 for Netflix prior to that. So wherever that comes into play, and
Netflix still does have the rights to those characters still. They can do what they want with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Defenders. Like, those are all Netflix owned Marvel characters.
So then why do you think they're pulling back on all these?
I think it's because if they don't do it now, if they keep going with if they're canceling them in the sense that if they do another to use the characters in a way that they see fit for the time period that they do have access to them, instead of keeping us going, and then when their contract to use the characters is up and Disney's like, okay, we want them all back now, then you're gonna have to cancel your series after season 5, where people are really invested in it, and you're going to lose Netflix.
I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to spoil anything. Daredevil had 3 seasons. The last season, you had the entire well-roundedness of Daredevil. You had his origin story. You had him struggling to get through as Daredevil in the second season. Then you had him discovering who he wanted to be in the final season. And it was a well-rounded series. If they don't have another episode of Daredevil or another series, that makes sense to me. That makes sense because it is a full series. Luke Cage does not make any sense to me. They ended it with him being, I don't want to say a bad guy, again, spoiler alert, but he was pretty much the almost turning into an anti-hero. You didn't know what his outcome was going to be. And so with a last season of him turning around or cleaning up the city or whatever you want him to do, you have that final season of him kind of bringing it all together, finishing it off, and then you can finish it off, or you can end it. I think that 3 series thing, that trilogy, works great in this opinion.
And I don't disagree, but here's my take on that: is Netflix has more to gain from licensing or from either selling the license to Disney early, or giving them permission and taking a cut off of Disney's streaming service.
So do you think that Disney is going to come out with another season, or do you think that they're just going to cut it or possibly make a reboot later?
Either it's a reboot. They will either do a reboot, or they will take the cast and pay directors or whichever, and take the filming crew from the other series. And basically Netflix is going to take the cut off that for them using their resources, and that, I mean, that's the thing I think of when I hear that those shows have been canceled.
I think we're going to get one Defenders to wrap everything up, and that's it. And then they're not going to make any more for it. I think they're going to cut their losses.
As of right now, it's showing me that it's canceled.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're going to, because technically, I think Jessica Jones, like I said, hasn't been officially canceled, and Punisher 2 obviously is probably going to be the last season of the Punisher. I think we'll see, let's get everybody together for something like, a Defenders thing, or maybe they'll do they could at this point in time now spin off a Luke Cage Iron Fist, which was something that happened a lot in the comics, and something that was kind of hinted at in the last season of Luke Cage, I believe.
Which I didn't like Iron Fist. Did it have 2 seasons of that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't like either season of Iron Fist. I thought the character was kind of a quote unquote pussy, honestly. But
I don't know why you put that in quotes, but
I was thinking the same thing. Shut up. So I thought when he was in Luke Cage, he played a better character, or at least he seemed more confident. He was more well-rounded.
Yeah. And I think, and the other thing is too, like, technically the way Iron Fist ended, they could still technically do a Iron Fist without any Danny Rand. Like, I don't want to get too spoilery in it, but they could still do that. And then they don't have to worry about licensing with Disney and Marvel and stuff, because it's their own unique story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would have to keep the name, though, right? To take the Iron Fist name, if Netflix owns the rights to that character, they can say it's like, they can do the story of Iron Fist and everything, but they'd have to call it Glow Fist, or Iron Punch, or Yellow Hand, or
Kick
whatever.
Puncher.
Or Danny Hand, the Iron Rand, or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it has nothing to do with Danny Rand or the Iron Fist anymore. Like, they could make it into a spinoff if you saw this ending of Iron Fist.
Yes, but I guess I didn't see the ending of Iron Fist, but if you're taking an Iron Fist character, you can't call him the Aluminum Fist or whatever, or the Steel Fist.
I think people that have seen Iron Fist all the way through are like, Drew doesn't know what he's talking about, because
then at that point, is it really the Iron Fist anymore?
No, not at all. That's why they can get away with it. It's because has nothing to do with fists being iron whatsoever.
It's the Steel Foot. It's just the Foot Clan.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it
awesome.
was actually a really good ending. Like,
that's pretty neat.
So
what Josh said, what I'm not afraid to say is, so yeah, I guess that's cool, but that doesn't, is that canonically part of the Iron Fist story?
No, which is why they can get
Marvel?
away with it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could get away with it as a truly new thing that Netflix could do for that, to keep that going on.
And maybe that's what they're trying. Maybe like Luke Cage goes bad because they're gonna or kind of goes anti-hero because they're gonna spin that off, and Daredevil is finding out who he wants to be because he's spinning that off.
Which I understand, but then don't come out and visually and say, we are canceling these people. Just move on to something else.
They have to say that they're canceling the character. Logistically, they would have to say that they're canceling the character, so that way they don't get in trouble for going, okay, this is
ABC Studio owns everything. Just give it to ABC. Let's go.
That's fine. I read a thing. I listened to a podcast about Wells Fargo and all the shitty stuff that they did in the monopoly side of banking and stuff. Man, I can go for days on that.
Because there's really only 5 banking companies.
Yeah. Anyway, was it Worcestershire Bank is who bought them in the 30s?
No idea.
I don't know. They kept the Wells Fargo name. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where that's at. So
I'm excited. I think that,
but that's a good point. And
there's a lot of things they can do with each. There's a character in each one of those series. So in Daredevil, there's a certain female journalist that could have her own TV series. In Luke Cage, there's a certain female cop that could have her own series.
Yeah, she could be freaking,
in Jessica Jones, there's a best friend that could have her own series, and in Iron Fist, there's a girlfriend that could have her own series. I'm just gonna say it that way. I mean, like, it's something that you could continue these on without actually using the namesake title.
That's really smart, and I am that gives Josh a +1 to his. Like, he gets one hint on his blind science question.
Because I think that might be what they can do. I mean, honestly though, this is Netflix, and I don't know if you guys have heard the criticism of Netflix right now, but they're essentially just greenlighting everything. Like, for every Bird Box, there's 15 other shows that are just terrible.
Well,
Netflix.
And I mean, there's also some really cool shows that are apparently changing people's lives, because now I have to get rid of 45 shirts. Marie Kondoing. Anyway, nobody gets that joke in this room because nobody's watched that show. It's about minimalizing the stuff in your life, and now I have to get rid of a bunch of
I would have lost it in the pop culture area there.
Yeah. So we're gonna get on to science news here. Or wait, hold on, pause. Do we want to talk about Punisher at all? Like, do we like the Punisher series?
I never saw the first one.
What? I thought Punisher was fantastic.
I like that actor.
Yeah.
I didn't see the first one either, Dale.
I like the actor. I didn't. He came on in. They had a movie of Punisher, didn't they?
Yeah, but he wasn't in the movie.
No, he wasn't in that one. Yeah. But I don't like anti-heroes. Like, I honestly would not have saw Daredevil unless it was not Daredevil. Deadpool, unless it was Ryan Reynolds being hilarious.
Well,
because I don't like anti-heroes. I'm Superman. I don't like Batman half the time. Captain America. Give me the tried and true guys.
Why don't you like Batman?
It's an anti-hero.
Batman's not an anti-hero. He's the darkness that the city needs, but not the darkness it deserves.
Okay.
Say that backwards. He's the darkness that the city deserves, but not the one it needs. Wait, did I say it the same way twice? Anyway, yeah, I like anti-heroes. I'm into it, but
this reminds me of like the Funny or Die Batman.
You can't say that now. I have to take it out.
He's like, if I was Bruce Wayne, could I do this? And he starts drinking water as he's doing the Batman voice. He's like, and then he goes, he starts like dying.
So you don't have superpowers? No, I have this.
Is it a helicopter? Oh, she's just mad that I got it right so quickly.
All right, so yeah, Punisher. I like the Punisher movies. I just hadn't watched the Punisher series just because I never got around to it. But I like that actor. He was great in Walking Dead. I know he's been in a couple other things too. But I never got into it. Nobody ever told me anything like anything super great about it. Like, not that I can't find that out for myself, but I just kind of looked into it and didn't look into it enough and didn't catch my eye. I ended up watching Luke Cage or something like that. So, but yeah, science. Let's do this. Dale, you got the question for blind science this week.
Blind science. So I figured we haven't really talked about the human anatomy that much. And that is technically a science. And so I'm actually looking for a few answers.
Dale, what about the question you sent me the other day?
I didn't send you a question the other day.
You did.
Okay, well, I'm doing this one.
Okay, that's fine. I Googled stuff about the other question.
Oh, I don't remember the other question.
Okay, let's do anatomy.
We'll do anatomy.
Okay, I want to know a few things. I want you to do how many bones are in the human body, and then there's a follow-up question to that.
Josh, you can be within 10 bones. That's your one up that I'm going to give you for having that awesome idea about Netflix.
So I'm going to probably get this wrong, but is it infant body?
Nope, not infant body.
I am going to give you that is a good hint right there. There are amount of bones you have when you're born, and then there's a few bones that fuse together to become, and then you have adult amount.
Yep. I think it's 208 for the adult human body.
It is 206, but it says around. So I am very impressed. You were confident with that answer.
There's a Scrubs quote about it.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job. I want you to name
all 218 bones in the human body. And the janitor's like, there's 208 bones in the human body. And he's like, well, I learned 10 more than I needed to.
I want you to say as many bones in your body as possible. All right. But hold on, wait.
Yeah. Do I just need to get to a certain number to make you guys satisfied?
Yes, hold on. Okay. Honestly, don't know that many, so I had to look up a little chart. Okay, so go ahead and give me as much as you can.
Fingers, phalanges, inside your wrist is your radius, and your ulna, I think, are in your wrist. And then you have, that's like your two main bones in your arms that are connected at your wrist. Then there is your humerus, which is the like arm bone here. You have your collarbone, which is clavicle in this area. Vertebrae 1, vertebrae 2, vertebrae. I'm just kidding. So your vertebrae is your backbone. Pelvis is here. Femur in your legs, and then femur, and then trying to remember the leg ones, because the legs and the arm ones are, shut up,
now you know,
tibia, fibia in your legs.
Honestly, you were 100% the entire way.
Yeah.
So he was.
No, your feet bones too. Tarsals. Oh, tarsals on your hands.
No, tarsals in your wrists or your feet.
Feet, and then metatarsals are in the hands.
Nope.
Or metatarsals are the tinier bones that connect between your ankle and the tarsals.
Sure. This is a very small map.
Tarsals were somewhere. I can't remember what the individual hand.
I'm gonna give it to him just for the number closeness.
I was like, the number was impressive. The amount was impressive. I would have not gotten half these. So that is a human body
win.
1
for 1 to start out the year. I like that.
We both know our stuff, guys. We've been doing our due diligence.
Your due diligence.
So
skull.
I forgot cranium. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You could have named your
mandible.
Yeah, your ribs, your mandible.
Yep.
What else?
My masticator.
Don't do that on the podcast.
That's my mandible.
No, that was very impressive, Josh. You got a lot of those.
I'm good with it. So the next one, Josh, did you put this on or did Dale?
I did.
Dale. Okay. So why don't you go into just the initial bit, and then we can talk about all the other stuff.
Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, and this I don't want to say scared the crap out of me. I knew that I would never do teleportation, and this is a reason why. So in the science behind Pokeballs is the topic for the science we're going to talk about today. And when a Pokeball hits a Pokemon.
Okay, hold on. So I had something I needed to say between the science behind Pokeballs and your explanation.
Okay.
So, Pokeballs aren't real. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. So when Pokeballs hit a Pokemon, it opens up and energy comes out, surrounds the Pokemon. Pokemon disappears and comes in the Pokeball. It's my understanding the Pokemon turns into energy, gets sucked into the Pokeball, and gets stored there until you release the Pokemon. The energy gets transferred back into matter, and then the Pokemon is there. How teleportation works is a very similar thing. You would have the matter turn into energy. Energy gets transferred somewhere else, then put back into matter. The only difference between teleportation and this would be the sending it through the air or sending it to another computer or another thing down the line. So
Pokeballs, the micro SD cards of the Pokemon.
It's my understanding with both Pokemon, with Pokeballs, that as soon as the Pokemon gets absorbed and put into energy form, it gets fucking disintegrated. It's dead. That Pokemon is dead. As soon as it gets disintegrated, it gets copied. All its data gets copied, put into the Pokeball. It gets disintegrated, and then the Pokeball comes out and creates new matter every single time.
So one flaw in that theory, how does the Pokemon remember? Like if it was a completely different Pokemon, how would it remember that Ash is its trainer?
Well, it's not a completely different Pokemon. It would have the same neural synapses, I'm assuming.
So then it wouldn't necessarily technically be destroyed in that sense.
It would be like you can get theological with this if you want. If it had a soul, its soul would left that body and went to heaven or went to wherever, and then a new creature came out. So it has all the memories, everything.
This is assuming mind-body dualism in that sense, where mind and body are technically two separate things. In dualism, monism would mean they're the same thing. And as Dale would say, if they have the same neurons, then it's all down to essentially it's like replacing the pieces in a clock. If I take a clock and I shatter all the pieces together, but then I put all the pieces back together in the same working order, the clock works and functions. That's called proper functionalism. And I learned all this in my limits of consciousness philosophy class. So good on me there. But so what you're saying is if proper functionalism is true, then like you said, destroying the object, putting it back together, and its identity is simply just everything that made it, its neurons, its memories, and everything there. It's indiscernible from the other one. And there's an argument for indiscernibility, where if you can't tell the difference between two things and one leaves its one spot and the other one goes back into that spot, if you can't tell the difference between those two things, then they're not really separate things. They are just the same thing. So wouldn't Pokemon gets destroyed and then a new one every time. I'd say it's literally just the same thing, because we're limiting it to if everything is just a matter of these cells and neurons being in the exact same spot, firing in the exact same way, then identity is...
Yes, but that's from the outside looking in. I'm talking about from the inside looking out.
So in dualism, mind-body dualism, saying that the mind is technically separate from the functioning of the body, whereas the mind acts more like a radio antenna, that when you put the mind in a certain configuration, it then picks up on these separate signals that we would then call the mind or consciousness or the soul, if you will. It's a conduit for such thing. And if that's the case, then yeah, you could technically say that when the Pokemon goes in there, the soul technically separates from the Pokemon, and then when you re-release it, the soul has to somehow join back to the Pokemon. Now, if the soul's just in the ether, or in some sort of heaven area, or, as Plato would call it, like the Platonic form of that area, then yeah, like the Pokemon.
Plato would call the ethereal plane name the ethereal plane after him.
But what I will say this is, when the Pokemon is in the Pokeball, it tries to escape. And because it is trying to escape, it's making some sort of movement. It is actually trying to separate itself from that Pokeball. I would say that the consciousness stays with the Pokemon in the Pokeball. Therefore, proper functionalism, where everything is just, accelerated to light.
Why couldn't it just be part of the computer program trying to get out?
Why would a computer program try to get out? It's a computer.
I'm not talking about the computer program. I'm talking about if the body and mind of the Pokemon gets transferred into the Pokeball, and the body or the mind would still be active in the Pokeball.
Yeah.
Within the computer program. It
tries to reconfigure itself back into matter. So the mind is maybe something that is... So maybe in that sense, maybe if they are separate, the soul itself gets transferred into the Pokeball as well. So now, even though we separate the mind and the soul, both of them are still being stored in the Pokeball.
So my
soul that's trying to escape with the body.
My question to this is, would you, after talking about this, be the first person in line, or at least, would you try out teleportation?
So, well, go ahead. You answer that question.
I think I would honestly want to know more about how the teleportation device works, because I do not believe in. I'm a mind-body dualist. I don't believe that who I am is just this up here and how it's configured. I think that I'm a conduit for some sort of. There's a celestial Josh somewhere that's just being expressed through this physical body, is what I would say. So
do you think when I die, there's a guy that's slamming his keyboard down like, motherfucker, lost again?
Like your computer program?
Yeah.
So where did the disintegrate and completely where did the turn into energy thought go to that direction instead of shrinking?
Instead of shrinking?
Yeah.
It kind of turns into like a flashy.
I was like, he kind of dissolves, doesn't make small.
Yeah, but
plus the inside of a Pokeball has like a bunch of mirrors. It looks like it's an energy something.
Maybe. But I mean, couldn't you argue that like in rearranging, we talked about this in Ant-Man, in rearranging the atoms in the Pokemon, that to rearrange it, you could separate them to rearrange them in a smaller form. So that.
Yes. And if that's the case, I wouldn't have the same body and mind argument. I would say shrinking is different than transferring between energy and mass.
So when you open the Pokeball or throw the Pokeball, it opens. That beam could not be energy, but it could be a shrinking ray. And then when the Pokemon itself fizzles out, it's not disintegrating or not necessarily disintegrating, but it's not becoming nothing or just turning into energy. It could be the molecules or the atoms of the Pokemon just shrinking down to size, which would
I have to disagree with that's how it works, because in certain senses you can transfer the Pokemon wirelessly. In the show and in the game, you can put a Pokeball on the thing, it sends it up, sends it out, and then you can receive a new one.
But does it take the Pokeball itself?
No, the Pokeball stays there.
In the video game transferring, it takes the Pokeball itself.
It takes the Pokeball itself.
In the video game, it does. In the show, it does not.
Correct. And
so
in
what is
Bill's PC, it doesn't necessarily.
So the Pokeball stays where it's at. It sucks the Pokemon out, sends it to Professor Oak, and then you get to reuse the Pokeball.
Yeah. Well, I
think in the game it makes more sense where it doesn't.
Yeah. Like, I mean, in Pokemon Go and in the newer games too. I mean, so once the Pokemon's in the Pokeball, it is a part of that Pokemon essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I think without understanding the proper mechanism that like attracts the Pokemon into the thing, I mean, Shrink Ray, I don't know, but if we're saying like it's turning it into energy, then the only thing I can think of is like tiny little black hole spaghettifies the Pokemon and pulls it into this thing, but then how would you re-release said Pokemon?
So my thing to you is this was just kind of a segue into if it's the point of like what we talked about in the beginning, would you, knowing what we know now, do teleportation?
If it was transferring me and my particles into energy and then putting that energy and reconstructing it back to another spot, then I'd probably say yes. Because I think that your conscious
Stargate is in the perfect example as well.
Your consciousness would travel with you. Well, in Stargate though, there's physical. I mean, that's wormhole theory and not necessarily the rearrange. Like in wormholes, it's just there's you walking through. Like you're not leaving your body and then going into another one. I know there's episodes for it too.
I was like, there is, yes. if it in a standard wormhole, but the wormhole itself, you're not going into the wormhole. You're entering the event horizon, getting transferred into energy, and then sent through the event horizon.
Yep.
So the Stargate itself converts you into energy.
Well, and
because there's episodes where they get a signal, the event horizon doesn't open. They trick the Stargate with no wormhole into creating an event horizon, and then they can have people stored in the Stargate.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Damn chevrons.
Chevrons.
Here is a article from 2011.
Ooh.
Everything you wanted to know about Pokeballs. And the diagram basically says light energy is used to store and contain Pokemon while inside the Pokeball. The light energy is refracted against a series of glass, thus preserving the energy state of the contained Pokemon. So, per this article, and this is from pre-Pokemon Go, I would say Switch console game. It is an energy obtained or an energy obtaining item.
Yeah.
So the origin of Pokeballs, they are actually does anybody know the origin of Pokeballs or what they are made from?
Slivco?
I would say what they're made from. I would say they're made from berries.
They are made from apricorns.
Yep. Apricorn. I knew that.
You Googled it, didn't you?
No. Minecraft has a thing where you have to take apricorns, smash them, you add iron to them, and you create a Pokeball.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I thought they were berries, though. I guess they're nuts or whatever.
Apricorns are a special fruit used to create the Pokeballs.
Okay.
They're out by specialists and filled with energy capturing devices. Modern Pokeballs are made by manufacturing companies such as Silphco and Devencorp. Variety and rarity of apricorns. Green 35%, red 5%. So the red one,
black and yellow are the rare ones.
No. Rarity is 30. So the way this makes it look is that red is least rare, and
blue.
Then blue, black, and yellow are 10% rarity, and then white is a 5% rarity as well. So that's why most Pokeballs are made out of red and white apricorns, because they basically take those, cut them each in half, hollow them out, and then put them together. So the least rare Pokeballs or the less rare Pokeballs are the black and white, or the red and white ones.
Cool.
Most rare is the green Pokeball.
Ooh.
At 35%, or the green apricorn. But yeah, so
Safari Ball, Nest Ball.
Yep. And then the rest of them are what's the word I'm looking for?
Pink.
The rest of them are
synthetic.
Yeah.
Synthetic. Cool.
Probably plastic, polyurethane thing.
We are at the end of our episode, guys.
Man, has it already been an hour?
Yep.
Oh, well. Well, that's everything.
Thank you guys for watching and listening. Hope you guys come back soon.
The government might be shut down, but we're not.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sexy Nerd Science Season 5.
Make sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Don't forget to check out our merch on Teespring and support us on Project Nerd Patreon at patreon.com/Project Nerd.